be my Monday stream. This could be the front porch or not, depending on if I fall asleep around 7 o'clock. In which case, this is going to be it. Man, I have to admit, I am loving. I've said this before. I know I keep repeating it. I am absolutely loving the whole going to bed at like falling asleep at 8 or 9 o'clock, waking up at like 4:30 or 5. Um, it kind of reminds me of back when I was in the fire service, honestly, you know. Um, so I'm kind of loving it, you know. Plus, it's like I get up in the morning. I've got the whole house to myself. I take the dog out. We walk around the cul-de-sac. It's like, and because I've got a couple things done, and they're not even major things, they're just a couple of little things done, then I feel like I've done something the rest of the day, I guess. I don't know. All right. Why am I not streaming on what do we got? We got Xbox. Let's do this. I know how to fix this. We hit the edit button. I mean, I like to edit on Rumble even though not a lot of people are over there. Just because um you know, who knows? The day may come where then all you will ever see me on is Rumble. So here we go. Here we go. Boom. No, I don't want to add Facebook Live. I'm already on YouTube. I don't want Twitch. I mean, Kick, meh. TikTok, meh. There we go, though. Rumble is now, we are now streaming live to Rumble. So, hey, Windrunner, I made a massive addition to my base last night. Yeah, I went a little overboard and I feel guilty. But those Cervax you said I could have, I noticed you had 500 of them, but then I noticed you had like another stack with like a couple hundred. And I took a couple hundred, but if you want them back, I mean, I've only used a few of them, and I wouldn't even be mad about it. But you know, I have got my extra windmills and freaking water traps and shit up, and plus, was that you or Hungar at your base last night when I flew over, did a flyover with my ornithopter? Because I flew over and you know, and I'll tell you what, that Scout Ornithopter has just totally changed the game for me. Because now it's like, oh, I've got Quest that's 3,000 meters away. You know, wow. Yeah, if ever there's anything you need, if I have it, it's yours. You know what I'm saying? Even if that just includes time, you know, working it off, sitting in your turret while you're running through the freaking canyons, getting more crystals or whatever the hell, you know. If I'm not directly involved in a situation and you need help, I am at your service, sir. Even though, you know, you're a filthy freaking Atreides scumbag, but I will still be at your service. So I started watching the Dune miniseries last night, and it's like, if I'm understanding it right, the original leader of the Bene Gesserit was a Harkonnen woman. And like, there's a lot of shady shit going on. But the thing that pisses me off about the show is true to the fact that this show is, you can hear the boy freaking out. True to the fact that this show is on HBO, it's basically softcore porn. So that kind of bothers me. Yeah, I'm telling you, I owe you. So I mean, if it's Jasminian harvesting, if you need somebody to sit in a freaking thing for an hour or so, I mean, I definitely owe you for those Cervax, because every place on the map that said those things existed, I'd go in and it would only be the improved ones or the ones right below, you know? And I'm like, but it says on the map they're here. But the whole thing, I spent hours looking for them and found two. And I'm just like, nah, nah, this is insane. So yeah, you really, your generosity really helped me out. And I don't know if I can ever truly express my gratitude in game, because that was the only thing holding me up from being where I wanted to be. Like with the three windmills running, I can pretty much do whatever. I've got two water harvesters going, so uh you know, it's like, you know what I mean? So I can like generate a ton of water. Not a ton, but liters and liters of water. And of course, as you know, that means that I can make a shit ton of metal, which, I mean, you've got it way better than I do, but I mean, I'm getting there. You know what I mean? I'm blushing. As they say, blessings of Shialud be upon you. Blessed be his coming and going. Blessed be the water. May keep the world for his people. You know, Yeah, my characters totally went native, like, because the armor kit I'm wearing, you can see his eyes, and he's got those blue and blue eyes already. You know. Now apparently there's a key you can hit to get rid of that if you don't like it, but I like it. So I'm all like, cool. Let's frimming this shit up. Whatever, right? So, but yeah, yeah. Even though you're an Eric, an Atreides guy. But here's the thing: as the Harkonnen, you haven't done the Harkonnen missions. It's just all about being double agents and effing people over. So I can work with you. You're just a contact. You're going to do some of that tonight. Well, if I am awake and you need some help with your crystals or whatever, uh, come pick me up. Actually, you won't even have to pick me up. You can just tell me to meet you somewhere, because I've got my own ornithopter and my own machine to put it up. So uh, we got that handled, right? Yeah, I don't want to turn off my blue eyes. I like my blue and blue eyes, you know? But right now I'm dealing with a female Harkonnen spy master that apparently hates the Harkonnen, and just serves them because. And she's like uglier than hell and got big nasty scar across her face, but she keeps calling me darling. So, and I was thinking about it. I mean, she's a little bit older than my character, but I'm thinking I might hit it, whatever. So it depends. I mean, she was flirting with me. She called me her most clever spider because, I shuck a guy down and got information from him. It's funny because the guy was like, information is like gold, blah, blah, blah. Give me money. And I'm like, how about I just put 30 rounds in your guts and you can poop me out the change? And the guy's like, we don't got to go there, bro. We don't got to go there. He's like, I'll tell you what you need to know. And I'm like, that's what I thought, you know. Also, last night I crafted a duralloy sword. So now my hand damage is like double what it was. So I'm feeling pretty, pretty loosey goosey about running up on people, which is actually got me killed a couple times being overconfident. So, I mean, if I had to guess the most people I've killed in Dune, it would definitely be the sniper rifle. I mean, I have actually killed people with the sniper rifle that were under 50 yards, 20 yards even. Because I'll just be like creeping around and hide behind a rock and then peep out around the rock and bow, headshot, they're dead, And even the heavy gunners, I figured out how to F over the heavy gunners too. You just pull out your assault rifle, and as soon as they start shooting at you, just start in the head, and you'll drop them dead every time because their shield drops when they start firing that flamethrower or their Vulcan cannon. And as soon as the shield has dropped, yeah, the jolt sword might do a bit more damage. I know mine does 70 something, but I'm not sure if it's 6 or 3 or 2 or 9. But yeah, it does decent damage. I mean, it's not a bad weapon at all. And because I've got like on my hotbar, I've got all of the defense moves. So if somebody's beating up on me and I start feeling desperate, I just hit that X button, throw the guard up real quick, and they hit me, and then it's like, bow, riposte, and then just, once you do that, they're staggered for so long, it's just like the slow blade, blow, But anyway, yeah, I mean, I was telling Hungar, I was like, it has been so long since I have been actually excited about an MMO. And now I've got like 300 hours in this game or 200 and change, whatever. And it's like, it just seems to get better. You know what I mean? So I am very, very pleased with the $29.99 investment that it was when I got it. And yeah, it's just been like I was playing earlier, and then I, decided to take a break and come in here and BS around with some people for a minute. Oh, neat. Yeah, the one I have, when it hits, if there's a shield, the dart explodes and covers the enemy with poison, which goes right through a shield. Now, it won't instantly kill them because it's damage over time. But I mean, if you've got them at range and they can't get to you, you can just stack so much poison on them that they die. You know, they do their thing, but then they drop dead. And it's like, okay, you know, you did what you did, but let's find. Uh-oh. I left the TV on so the dog wouldn't be bored. But I like the drill shot. I just spent a lot of my research points. I had like over 1,000 to spend. So, you know, I just bought all of the higher end stuff. But yeah. Put a wash on this bunny rabbit. Since you game with us, I can actually show you this thing and ask you how you feel about it. Like, you know, if we ever started gaming with this. Poor Tracy had to run to the store and well, this is called a hop or a hoop. They're kind of a mutant rabbit. I've talked about them before. They can turn uh, metal into rubber by touch. So they're like rust monsters, but worse because they're rust monsters that may or may not be carrying automatic weaponry. So, you know, oh, I hear my wife. She's back. That's good. So, Leth, I don't know what we want to talk about, but you know, you're always invited. We can talk about the fact that now I don't think it's really actually going to happen because I'm a negative Nancy maybe, but it actually looks like Saskatchewan and Alberta are seriously considering leaving the Canadian Confederation.
Yep.
Now, I didn't even know the Canadian government was a confederation.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I mean, the first time I heard somebody say the Confederate or the Confederation or the Canadian Confederation, or what, I was like, wait, what? But apparently,
Yeah,
they
what?
are confederation of provinces, and every single province has the right, should they deem it whatever, to leave at any time.
Like America used to be.
Well, part of it. But
I
anyway,
think it was part of it. I mean, I thought this was always supposed to be a voluntary thing. I mean, what kind of union
um,
is it if you can volunteer to join, but it's permanent to a detriment to that state?
there are some people who have made arguments that that the states are supposed to be able to secede, but I've heard other people make arguments that that's not so.
Yeah.
So I honestly I don't know if that is so or not.
I think I'd agree with Thomas Jefferson on this.
What did Jefferson say?
He was basically saying that every so often you actually had to get people to come back together just to vote on it again and come up with like a new, the set of rules.
Yeah, he also said the tree of liberty had to be watered with the blood of patriots.
Yeah,
So
but don't
funny
think
you
he ever
bring up
thought.
TJ though, because of all the founders, he is absolutely my favorite founder. And I've seen him in person, kind of, sort of.
I mean, how could you see him in person?
Kind of, sort of.
Hmm.
Because my wife took me to Colonial Williamsburg, and they had a guy dressed just like Thomas Jefferson
Ah,
give a speech that Thomas Jefferson gave, and he was dressed like him and everything. And then at the end, he walked through the crowd, and I was on the front row, and everybody was like, telling him whatever. And when he got to me and he reached his hand out to shake my hand, I shook his hand and said, "God save the king." And he just looked at me like, because, he's up there giving a speech about the revolution, like what they're going to do. And I'm all like, "God save the king."
yeah,
I had to be a smartass. I couldn't help it.
fair.
But Colonial Williamsburg, if you ever hit the lotto, or it's actually not that expensive, but if you ever decide you want to leave where you are to go see a thing, I love Colonial Williamsburg. And about
Yeah,
every other year, my wife takes me, and we always have the best time, you know. So, there's that. It's just, you walk around and you look at what America was like in like 17 something.
and to think there was that one time where also Benjamin Franklin thought that the Germans were too uncivilized to be American.
If it wasn't the Germans, it was the Irish. If it wasn't the Irish, it was the Italians. I
I
mean,
know, but I do find that one kind of funny. It's like they cannot actually accept English law, so we shouldn't allow them in the country.
he's got a point, and that's a point that we have missed in modern time, is that the founders at no point, and people can be like, well, they're a bunch of racists or whatever. No, they weren't racist. They just understood that if you're going to have a society, the people in that society have to
Have
be
to
able to live
agree,
together.
actually agree to that society.
Right. And if a group of people you have deemed will never integrate into
Assimilate.
that society, then you just don't let them in.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. And it's not mean to say that. People are always talking about gatekeeping, gatekeep your game, and gatekeep your damn country. Since they changed the law in the 80s. In the 80s, there was a law that all immigration had to follow the current demographic composition of the United States, which at that time was like 70% white, which meant all legal immigrants in the United States had to be matching the people that were already there, so that the country would never change. It would always be the America that Rockwell was, painting pictures of, right? But then the ACLU and the ADL and all that got involved, and they said that was racist. And they got that overthrown and immediately started flooding the country with third worlders. Not only that, they made it harder for Europeans to get here than it is if you're, from Central Africa. And some people might say, well, you're just being racist. And I guess I am. I guess in a way I am, because I like old America, you know? I like it, and I don't want it to change. I don't want America to turn into Mexico or some other country. Oh, that's it. I am showing off some cars today. These were gifts that's a fire truck too. Neat. It's got a ladder and everything. The Batmobile, believe it or not, that will be awesome for what I do. It's the Batmobile. My pops, whenever he sees cars like at the Kroger's or whatever cheap, he always buys some for me and sends them to me. I'm not sure what the hell this even is, but it's got a missile launcher already built onto it. So, because he knows that, oh, someone's at the door. Let me check. How did you get locked out?
You went out the back door to chase the yard dude down.
You locked yourself out.
Yeah, we chased the yard dude down and paid him.
You paid the yard dude. Well, I'm sure Pedro's happy about that.
Yeah.
I think that's his name, Pedro.
Pretty sure,
Yeah, pretty sure he's.
Yeah, so I went out the back, but got locked out. And I figured
I'm back. My wife locked herself out of the house.
Vote for
Kind
Pedro.
of. She went out the back door to pay our lawn guy and then ran around the house to the front door, which was locked. And so, whatever, you know. She's a funny one. I woke up this morning and had to call her in and just make her lay down with me and cuddle a little bit because I was feeling like I just needed to be cuddled a little bit, you know. And of course, my dog absolutely hated every bit of it because he is the king of the cock blockers. Like, he's like, do not touch my mama at all, ever. You know what I mean? He takes that shit personal. But anyway, this is interesting. The Tankinator, yes, don't really need. I mean, I would change the wheels on it, obviously, but I don't know that this needs much work. Maybe repaint it a little bit. But one of the things I do when I'm just sitting around bored, oh, this will be really good. This will be really good. I love this. Is I convert these over for Car Wars.
Ah, yeah.
Actually, Gaslands, which is Car Wars, but at this scale. And I'm a huge proponent of Gaslands.
Well, James, I got a game in last night.
Well, let's hear what craziness you got into.
We fought a bunch of frost giants. 5 of them, to be exact.
That's
coffee go everywhere.
Uh-oh. My wife is using my wet vac real quick, so if it gets loud. So what were you doing in the frost giant's lair?
We were trying to pass get through the mountains. That's all. And we just came across 5 frost giants just hanging around.
Just hanging around, enjoying the weather.
Until we came by.
And then you guys showed up and was like, we're going to beat you up, frost giants. And they were like, damn, man, we're just hanging out.
Yeah. One of the first things I did was basically run to the front, cast Sanctuary on myself.
Nice.
Basically becoming a block for the frost giants who could barely fit on the road. It worked out pretty well at first. I mean, the first time it couldn't hit me so it threw a rock. Then the second time, the DM crit succeeded on the wisdom save to hit me. So then she had to roll the attacks. in which both failed. I basically was just acting like a tank. I have like an AC of 20 now. Then another time she finally succeeded, and then crit succeeded on throwing a rock at me, which knocked me out.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, that's good. We didn't get any gaming in because my wife came down with something. I don't know if it was the 24-hour flu or the I just don't want people at the house tonight. But whatever it was, um, she definitely had something going on because my wife never passes out in the middle of the day, like, to take a nap. She barely sleeps, to be honest. Like she'll climb in bed at 2 o'clock and be up for work by 6:30,
Yeah.
And she's one of those people, you know what I mean? That just don't sleep. And yesterday she just was like, she's like, I'm super tired. So no one of the players cared, but I cared a little bit because in my experience, if you cancel game night 3 or more times, the game is over. It's like,
It's sad.
it's just how it goes, for whatever reason. If you
Just
cancel, then the game will just die because players don't like to have games canceled on them. In other news, I found an STL of a character, and it looks actually kind of like my buddy Mike Tony, because it's got the really long black wavy hair, and he's got a crowbar and a hubcap for armor, right? And a long, long time ago in a game, he had made a character, and his only request was, could his character use a crowbar? And I decided, yes, your
gotta be
character
careful.
can
Gotta watch
use a
out for head
crowbar.
crabs.
And so he started using the crowbar for his primary melee weapon. Character was a thief,
But James, you gotta be careful because of head crabs.
right? But so he just started, playing this halfling with a crowbar, running around, beating goblins to death with a crowbar. And he really loved that character.
Sounds hot.
So the fact that I found a character that matches his Gamma World character, but has a crowbar, he was really excited because,
Blame 'em.
A lot of times how I make characters is actually I go through the miniatures I own. I find a miniature that I think is really cool, and that becomes the character.
Similar to what I do. Well, somewhat. I look for pictures online and hopes to find something good.
Right.
It's hard, but sometimes you'll find something that's just really cool.
Well, that's because you play online a lot. So makes sense. I would do the same thing if I played online a lot.
Yeah.
But nothing wrong with it. So if somebody's like, hey, we're going to play this game.
That's how I got my halfling pirate.
Exactly. I look around for a miniature or something that looks like I think my character should look, and that becomes my character. Crowbars, shovels, and wood axes are all the go-to improvised weapon in almost any setting. True, Kranos. But this guy, my bro Tony, I don't think that's doxing him since there's a million Puerto Ricans nicknamed Tony. His character was obsessed with the crowbar, and we were playing I think 3rd edition. So he asked, and I gave him permission to actually spend feats on his crowbar. So, you know, he didn't have a lot of them because he was playing a thief, but what few weapon feats he spent, it was all about, you know, kicking somebody's ass with that crowbar. He was just really into the crowbar. You know what I mean? And like before a game, he would send me a picture of like a little kitten, but the kitten was holding a crowbar, and it would be like, are we gonna have crowbar justice tonight? And I'd always be like, yeah, game's on, because he's that guy that, you know, I can say game's on tonight, guys, and then like 20 minutes later I'll get a message from him being like, is game still on? It's like, yes, game is still on. And he'd be like, cool. And even though of all my players, he lives the closest to me, he's always the latest to show up. It's really weird, you know. That could be because he might have a little African blood in him, and you know, as the new African, the thing that the black people are saying is being on time is like white supremacy. So yeah. And hey, what's up, William? Can't stay, but good morning. Hey, thank you for hopping in. Give me a thumbs up if you would. I mean, apparently it does something. I'm not sure what. Remember, this stream will also be live on my Rumble account, and the Rumble account, I believe the information is in the information of every video I've ever made. So, you know, if you ever get pissed off about YouTube and the 8 million commercials they seem to put on everything, I'm not even monetized, and they still put commercials on my videos, which I think is long, dude. I think it's kind of unfair because it's like you're making money off of me, but I'm not making any money. Like I mean, I guess I could. I've got, I think, 3,000 subscribers, but I bet you 2,090 of them are probably bots. Like based on, no, wait, let me do the math different. 2,980 of them are probably bots. And I'm basing that just on the amount of actual interaction I get. Because if I go by the number of people who actually comment and like videos and shit like that, it's always around 10 or 20. Condor's name is Steven. That's a great name, Steven. Well, I mean, at least he's making videos that are positive and not just him hating on everyone else and blaming everyone else for his problems. I mean, I personally, if I could have my way, I would find a way to befriend and be cool with Condor and J. Scott Garrity. because yeah, they might be a little bit whatever, but I feel like they're closer to what I am when it comes to gaming than a lot of other uh like I feel like I have way more in common probably with Condor than Jenny D or Bob World Builder or you know any of those shills, you know what I mean? Um it's just unfortunate that the guy insists on hating me. Um Especially since I don't remember ever doing him wrong in any way. I mean, I talked shit about him, but he talked shit about me first. So, I mean, that's the way it works, right? Even left knows this. Everybody knows this.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody comes after you, you hit them back. And maybe I should have tucked the high Christian road and ignored his bullshit, but I didn't. You know, I went after him.
I
And
say it this way: if you can't take it, you shouldn't dish it out.
yeah, exactly. If you can't take it, don't dish it out. And I think that's kind of an issue with Steven, if you know, as that is his name, is he can't take it. I don't know who Crispy is, but this is Condor's problem. Is instead of getting online and sharing like stories about his games or dressing up like an elf and like trying to show cleavage or God knows anything really, he is constantly attacking other people. And that, at the end of the day, that's not a winning strategy, you know? Like if I wanted to get a lot more streamers, you know what I'd do? I would react to an Asmongold video. And the fact that I'm reacting to Asmongold would drag in shit tons of Asmongold followers. And some of them might actually like what I said, and then they would follow me too. That's how you get subscribers on YouTube. Reaction, or as some people call it, slop tubing. But that, honestly, that's just how it is. And if people don't like it, well, I'm sorry about their problems, but you know, that is their personal problem. Now, I usually only react to J. Scott Garby, who doesn't have very many more subscribers than I do. So I'm not going to get any subscribers from reacting to him. Nah, you gotta pick somebody like Moist Critical or Ethan Klein, you know, like one of the guys that got like millions of subscribers and they're very kind of controversial. And then even if your whole review is just you saying you agree with them, it still counts. You know what I mean? So if you got a YouTube channel out there and you're wondering how to get your numbers up, that's how you do it. Attacking some rando named Crispy that no one's ever heard of, it's a waste of time. It makes you look like a jackass, and it's just not how you do things, right? And unfortunately, we are in the time period where YouTube is nothing but Fox News and slop tubers.
Yeah. I miss the old days of weird, funny, short videos sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Or some of the longer videos, like, you know,
Yeah.
remember the days of PewDiePie screaming for an hour and a half, playing, you know, fucking Minecraft.
I wasn't in that phase.
Oh, well, that I was in that phase. I was in the really early phase.
I mean, I knew of it. It's just that was the side I didn't go to.
Right.
I
Well,
like
when I
more the,
originally got YouTube, you know what the whole point of getting it was?
What was that?
Music.
Music? Fair. Yeah, that was true. At one
The
point.
really the only reason I logged on to YouTube for like years was Filthy Frank. Yeah, my daughter introduced me to him. But for me, the whole point of logging on to YouTube used to be to watch old music, because
I remember like Afro Ninja.
Afro Ninja, freaking, the Fell Nation, that was a good channel.
I'm glad that didn't take his career. It would have been far less funny.
But do you remember Fell Nation?
Uh, I'm trying to remember. It sounds familiar.
This dude just put together compilations of people effing themselves up.
No, yeah.
Like skateboarders effing up a slide down a rail and like
There was a lot of
totally
videos,
getting their
you know,
nuts racked.
YouTubers who do that.
Yeah, Fell Nation was one of them, and then he was a big one. I already mentioned PewDiePie. Leafy, I hated Leafy, but for some reason, a lot of people love that guy. And then, of course, I lived through the ancient time period when, like, tons and tons of idiots argued about atheism online.
Yeah, I've been through that too. It was that and global warming at one point was a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, so you always had to look at Amazing Atheist and Thunderfoot videos,
I've seen a few.
and I'd just be like,
Eh,
why is this shit showing up on my whatever?
I've
I
seen that
don't
a lot
care.
recently
But then
too.
I would argue, I would debate them, and when you debate atheists, there's one question that always F's them, and they know it. And that is, how did life start? And they'll go into, at the beginning of time, there was this weird chemical mix in the ocean, and maybe lightning hit it, blah, blah, blah. And then maybe a single celled organism was formed. And then you go back at them and say, yes, statistically, what are the odds of that one single cell organism that got just randomly generated surviving long enough to do anything?
Here's the worst part actually. What's the odds of not even getting life with the right proteins in order and the way you need it to even get to that life is astronomical and impossible.
And that is why so many biologists and shit like that are starting to convert to Christianity and shit. Because, mathematically,
It's just an impossibility. It wouldn't happen.
our existence shouldn't be a thing. We shouldn't exist.
Like
And yet we do.
Stephen C. Meyer actually told people about the mathematics about it. He's like, okay, you need it all like 15 protein strains in order, in the right order. Also, all right-handed. If any of them's left-handed, then you have to start over. And it's like that will take you about to the heat death of the universe.
Yeah.
To even get it to go properly.
Now, if you're arguing with an agnostic, they can get you back. They can say, okay, there's a higher force that created us. I just don't agree that it's your God.
Yeah.
At which point your argument is cool. Okay. You know what I mean? Because you've reached an impasse there. It's like something we don't understand did something we don't understand. I just don't think it's the one you think it is. And you know what? That is an absolutely fair argument. And I respect the agnostic viewpoint, even though I disagree with it. I respect it because, yeah, because if you ask me honestly, deep down in my heart, I feel like I am right. But feelings
Feelings aren't an
facts
argument.
don't care about feelings is
It's funny
Certain-
how Ben Shapiro's been acting with that at certain points.
Well, Ben Shapiro is how to put it. Ben Shapiro is an absolute piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. And I've called him such on my Facebook, and he responded. I actually called him worse. I called him a filthy blank and F the F up. And if he loves a certain country so much, why doesn't he take his filthy ass back to it? So basically, a lot of people would say the things I said were incredibly in poor taste, right? But it was Ben Shapiro agitating for American troops to get involved in some stupid war in the desert. And I'm like, no, we're not doing this, right? Dude sent me a message back, and it was, thanks for watching my videos, bro. And I just laughed at that. I was like,
Well, yeah. I
yeah,
did watch it.
yeah. There's nothing I can say about it. I mean, he's like he didn't get mad. He didn't F you Yahtzee and he just said, thanks for watching my videos. And I was like, okay, respect. I mean, I don't agree with anything he says, even if I watch his videos, and I liked him in the Tom McDonald video, where he's rapping. But
Yeah, that's where that Freedom Tunes video came from.
but I 100% don't agree with his bullshit. It's obvious that he is a shill for a foreign nation. And if he had his way, we'd be going to war with we'd be going to war with the enemies of that foreign nation pretty much nonstop, right?
Yeah.
And he talks about how he's a free speech absolutist until Candace Owens says something he don't like. And all of a sudden, he's not a free speech absolutist. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm not a huge fan. Not a fan of the guy.
Like, I may not like Candace Owens, but I also don't care for it either.
Actually, I kind of like Candace Owens, some of her stuff.
Some of it. There's things I'm just like, yeah, I don't like her. There's things I don't like about her.
She believes some weird ass shit. About space lasers and dinosaur bones. But on the other hand, when she does a deep dive into like who's who and who did what and blah, 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 a lot of the times she's 100% right. Yeah, he's in my state. Probably, I guarantee you, living on somewhere down in Miami or Coral Gable, because when you go to Miami Beach, it is all Jewish people. And not that I'm saying that's a bad thing. It is what it is, though. Rich Jewish people from New York retire to Miami Beach. That is just the way it goes. And Miami Beach is beautiful. I will say that. I love Mike Dice. I do. I have to admit, yes, I am a Mark Dice guy. I remember when he used to do his man on the street shit. I love when he makes fun of Brian Stelter, because he talks like a woman. Like anytime he's copying Brian Stelter, like reading what Brian Stelter read or said, he always goes, "So hi, my name is Brian Stelter," or whatever. But in a lot of cases, Mark Dice is right. And I remember a lot of people were really mad that President Trump invited him to the White House. But those people, I think, will be fine. They'll get over it. I mean, they're young. But and Mark Dice has been telling the truth forever. And someone people make fun of a lot Alex Jones, if I had a nickel for every time that dude was right about some crazy like conspiracy thing, dude, I'd have a jar full of nickels. Remember everybody making fun of him about the chemicals turning frogs gay?
It was
And
true.
then it turns out he's right. There's a freaking chemical that does weird shit. I mean, it's like, what? Plus, I just like to hear him go off. You know how
Yeah.
every now and then Alex Jones just goes off. You know, like when he's like, "I'm an American," rips his shirt off. You know, it's like, you go, Alex Jones. You tell him you're not gonna have this shit. They can take their bullshit somewhere else because it ain't happening in this neighborhood. But then, of course, the government decided they had to go after him and try and take literally everything he owned. But yeah, so anyway, the point I was making is there is a way, right, to make the subscribers jump up. And if you're monetized, that means to make the money to do the thing. There is a way to do it, and it's not even a super hard way. It's actually an easy way. Like I said, you
Super
just
easy,
need
barely an
to-
inconvenience.
yeah, it's so easy. It's barely even an inconvenience. I love that guy. You just need to start reacting to other people reacting to shit, or start like just copy like what's her name, the new person who does all the speaking for the president. Just watch her video when she's giving her reviews to the media, and just like every couple seconds stop and make a comment and then let her go. And I guarantee you, next thing you know, you're gonna have a bunch of people watching your channel being all like, yeah, you know, I'm watching this guy's channel, you know, like,
I do
I
like that
mean,
one guy, especially
all of the big YouTubers, that's what they do.
that screen rant guy. He also made that the Tiger King video.
Right.
Oh God, that one was hilarious.
Yeah, that you need charisma, which I don't know if I have any of, but you need a little charisma,
Yep.
and you just need to talk shit about current, you know, events and whatever. If you think you're going to be a popular YouTuber talking about OSR or AD&D games, you are completely out of your mind, because the reality is that both of those things are like a fringe of a fringe. And yeah, you're not ever going to break any sort of subscriber counts effing around with that. It's not going to happen. You know, these people who think they're going to turn their talking about old school D&D into like a business, get the F out of here. It's not going to happen. You know, stop it. You know, I'm not even trying to be like mean or whatever. I'm just saying, you know, this is the reality. This is the system. If you want to get any sort of traction as talking about games, the two big ways to do it, and I know this from experience from looking at view counts on my own videos: make videos accusing Watsy of being racist over like Hadozi or some shit like that. Be a weird multicolored haired chick that likes to show off cleavage, and or suck 5E's nutsack nonstop. and then you've got a chance of raising that subscriber base.
I just don't
But
think it's still that much either, though.
but it's not ever going to be worth, you know, you're not going to be able to quit your job and be like, I'm a full-time YouTuber. No, no. As a matter of fact, I think that the whole idea of being a full-time YouTuber might just be over,
Yeah.
because YouTube does not give a shit about you. They're trying to be a streaming service now. And it's working, because I have to admit, I've bought a few movies on YouTube, like Zardoz and Nefarious and stuff like that. So when I log on to my YouTube account, I can go into my movies and watch those movies. You know what I mean? Why I didn't put it on my Amazon, I don't know, but yeah, I did it on YouTube. So that's the future of YouTube. You know, people like me, we might still be allowed to exist on YouTube, but the algorithm is never going to push us. Never, ever, 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 ever going to push us. It's just not going to happen. Get over it. The golden age is done. And yeah, it's just not going to happen. I mean, right now, you've got guys like Asmongold and stuff, and they're making their money. They've been at it for a while, and they're multimillionaires. But it's not their fault. They're not. It's not like Asmongold and those guys are pulling the ladder up behind them. YouTube pulled the ladder up behind them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's why some of those guys like Nuxenor, he does put like his streams on YouTube, but he primarily live streams on Kick for some reason. I don't know why.
Kick's not that bad. I mean, it's like a weird version of Twitch, but at least it's not, it doesn't have all the problems of Twitch too.
Yeah, I have no opinions on Kick either way. I never even knew that there was a thing called Kick until
I kind of heard of it randomly once, and then it's like, oh, okay.
exactly. It's like I randomly heard about it. Somebody was like, I think Nuxenor is who I was watching, and he's talking about how he streams on Kick. And then I was watching an Asmongold video, and he was now he multi-streams on Twitch and Rumble. So you know. But yeah, Mark Dice doing the squeaky Stelter voice is hilarious. And it's so funny too, because then, like, you know, for a while Stelter was trying to be like, I don't even, who's Mark Dice? It's like, dude, you know who he is. You know. Stop pretending, right? Like, you don't know who that guy is. He's been riding your ass for 3 years. So I like watching Zeducation too. And he does the whole reacting to people being dumb thing. Pretty funny. Another guy that I recently found is If You Laugh, You're a Conservative.
Yeah, that was Education.
Yeah, but this is a new guy.
Oh, somebody stole his idea, huh?
Yeah, somebody stole his idea, and it'll just show like weird ass shit, and then it'll, you know, the idea is, except his education is not as political as this guy. This guy is like super political. And it's all about, he'll show like, you know, stupid shit And then the idea is if you laugh, you're conservative, because he's showing like edgelord kind of stuff that Gen Xers would laugh about, because a lot of times it is millennials crying about something. And you're
I
just
could
like,
laugh at that, and I'm a millennial.
yeah, and you're just like, get out of here. Or people interviewing people at a pride parade, and the people at the pride parade are saying crazy shit, and you're just like, and the guy's like just going along with it, because he's infiltrated the pride parade. There, one of them, the person was like, it's just a great wholesome day for the family to be out. And after the woman said that, dude just pans over and you see like two dudes like dry humping each other or some shit right on the street.
Oh
And
God.
it's just like, huh, just a wholesome day, just super wholesome, just just out here dry humping each other in the middle of the street. It's like, hey, it's Gay Pride Month. It's the day this is the month when it's legal for men to walk around in banana hammocks with their wang hanging out in front of children. Like any other month of the year, if you do that, your ass is going to prison. But on this particular day, you can do it and get away with it because it's a pride thing, and pride is beautiful. We wouldn't want to interfere with this.
Pride cometh before the fall.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I think somebody needs to talk to the LGBT guys about their marketing and tell them to quit picking things that are like actually satanic. It's like being gay is already, you're already breaking a law. And it's not a good thing, right? But actively embracing like actual devil worship and shit, that's not helping your cause, man. But a lot of them, that's just how they be. They double down on it. They're like, oh, if you don't like us. What I love is I love watching the LGBT for Palestine or Iran people, because I'm sitting here thinking, if they were to round you up and send you over there, you would live literally for about 10 minutes. And they would be chucking your ass off a roof.
These LGBT for Palestine may be for them, but they're not for you.
Yeah, you might support them, but they do not support you, homie. See, Iran figured it out. They don't throw gay people off of roofs anymore. They just force them to have transitions. And then after they transition them, they force them to marry somebody. So now you're not gay, you're a woman. And that's okay. That's how Iran got rid of all the homosexuals. And I guess, hey, if you're an old guy and you're not really wanting to have kids and you're into butt sex, shit works out for everybody there, I guess. Because you've got this transvestite that you can do what you will with. The best for everybody. But right now I am painting Gamma World and random sci-fi miniatures and specifically Dune miniatures. Like this guy right here, I might have to do a little detail work on him, but this is, a Sardaukar. See if I can get it to focus in. Stop shaking. Anyway, you guys get the picture. You see him. Yeah, that's a Sardaukar warrior. The one thing they're missing is holsters. So I may go through my bits and find holsters to put on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they definitely should be carrying like snub nose bolt throwers or something like that. I mean, even though it is true, Sardaukar also were very fond of using las rifles, but of course the problem is on Dune, everybody's wearing a shield, and if a las rifle comes into contact with a shield, it reacts basically like an atomic bomb. So, not really something you want to do. Now, they say, and this is after the book lore, so I don't know if it's true or not. They say that the Chome Company has actually invented las guns that before they fire, they send out a little like beam to detect if the enemy has a shield on or not. And if the little beam detects a shield, the rangefinder or whatever, then the las gun will not fire. Because when that nuclear reaction happens, the las gun firer and the guy with the shield both die. You know, it's not
And
like
anyone nearby.
and anyone anywhere in the neighborhood. It's just like
Yeah.
not a good idea. It's like you die, you die, you die. Everybody dies. And so yeah. And then of course you've got your cutter rays, which are the laser powered cutters you use. On Dune, they use them to carve through stone to make underground facilities a lot of the time. And yes, guys, I apologize. I am pretty much obsessed with the Dune thing right this second because I'm playing the Dune role playing game and having the most fun I've ever had in a role playing game in like a decade.
Fair.
Uh, it combines hey, what's up, crafting gamer? Thank you for being like the one guy watching. Yeah, the Dune role playing game combines the survival aspects of Conan Exiles. But it's Dune, so if you like Dune and sci-fi stuff, you're automatically in. And also, there's a lot of actual role playing and quests and dungeons and PvP areas, and you can build a house and equip it out with like machinery that will take ores and transform them into ingots and just build, you know. And the whole time when you're running across the desert, you're running from rock outcropping to rock outcropping so that you don't get ate by Shai Halud, who gives you nothing back when it gets you. You get nothing back. And what I mean by that is you'll reappear at the starting base wearing nothing but a loincloth.
That reminds me of something.
What?
In our game, when we finally killed those giants, they did have weapons on them that I will be able to use to turn into other things.
Oh, that's nice because
Yeah,
you are an artificer, basically.
I'm a Ford. I'm a blacksmith.
Right. So you'll be able to break down all that. I'm sure giant weapons probably a lot of metal in them.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And so I'm going to take all that metal and make plate armor for me.
Well, that's nice.
At least part of the plate armor. Next time I can.
Yeah, we've got some guys waiting for magic items. They paid like thousands of gold pieces to a wizard friend that they know. and gave him a dragon hide, and they want him to like make some kind of enchanted dragon hide armor,
Yeet.
which ended up being at the end of the day like +2 leather armor, but it gives evasion versus electrical attacks.
Hmm.
So if you're wearing it and you get hit with electricity, if you fail your save, you take half damage. And if you make your save, you take no damage. So the ranger is like in love with that. He's just like, oh my God, right? He's got this blue dragon leather magic, protects from electricity armor. He hasn't got to really use it yet, but hey, you know, the time may come, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, that's how my players are, though. If they kill a dragon or anything like that, they are freaking, they will spend days skinning it out, pulling teeth out of it, getting its heart and its liver and its gizzard, and, you know, and then throwing it all, wrapping it up and throwing it all in a bag, and then heading to the nearest wizard they know.
Once I get that plate armor though, +2 to my AC.
Are you playing D&D or?
Yeah, D&D. Sadly, 5th edition, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, plate armor is not that expensive in 5th edition, so I don't understand.
1,500 gold.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. I know in like 4th edition it was like 50 gold.
No, it's 1,500 gold. Be really easy if it was 50 gold. I could easily get that. That'd be nothing.
Right.
But no, it's much easier and cheaper when you could just make the plate armor.
Right. Plus, you
That'd-
can make it to the whatever way
What
you
you want.
want it to be.
Yep, that's what I plan on doing. And I mean, this is really good because next level I'll be able to get fabricate, which means that I'll be able to easily make plate armor on the go whenever I want, or anything I want, really.
Nice.
Fabricate's a fun spell. I like it.
Yeah, my group, no one really. I mean, they have secondary skills and stuff, but they don't use them a lot of the time. But because they have through game means made lots of friends, and some of their friends, at least a couple of them, are like archmages,
Yeah,
which means like level 11. In
make
OFC,
things for them.
that's just level 11.
Yeah.
But still, that's the level where a guy could take some dragon armor and
Chant
so
it.
what they did is they gave him the dragon armor, and the wizard charged him a couple thousand gold pieces.
Yeah.
And then the wizard hired a leather worker he knew to actually make the armor while the wizard was busy
Enchanting it.
doing all the heebie-jeebie shit. Uh-oh.
Another really good thing about that is, it'll be +2 AC, plus the one that I can put on it through my feats, or my
But
class ability.
what's the total AC? I mean,
22 would be my max AC once I get it.
it's not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
That's the equivalent of an AD&D like -1 or -2.
And next time I'm able to get a feat, I'm going to be picking up Magic Initiate, picking Mage, and going with what was it called? Shield. So if anybody attacks me, I can just cast Shield and get a +5 to it.
Well, shield is good because it's like the only way, if I remember in the game, to stop magic missile.
Yeah, it's also it can also stop magic missile, which early on is really good. But It's okay
No,
after a while.
Ladon is really good. You've got an Archmage with Magic Missile 9 times, and every time they cast that shit, it's 5 automatic hits for 5 die 4 plus 5.
Oh yeah, true. That is a
That's
lot
a
of good
guaranteed
automatic
10
damage.
That's 10
Yeah.
damage guaranteed.
Yeah.
And nothing you can do about it but cry, right? And if he rolls max, 25 damage. You know what I mean? Now,
I
whatever level you are, taking 25 damage from a hit that you had no defense against is always going to be not a good thing. I mean,
not too far now. I mean,
Magic Missile is a great spell. When you like, especially if you're a mage and your group is fighting, and you as a mage, you see like a cleric or a mage on the other side. If you
oh,
win
definitely.
initiative every round, you're just magic missiling the shit out of them.
Not to mention, it's a really great way to kick out those concentration spells.
That's
Like
exactly what I
concentrating if
just
you hit
said.
like 6 or 7 times and automatically.
That's what I was just saying.
Yep.
And in AD&D, if you take damage, the spell's just gone. There's no concentrations.
Yeah.
You're just done, right? So if you beat the enemy caster and you chuck magic missiles at his ass, whatever spell he was trying to work up is done. And you have to remember, in AD&D, everyone has to declare what they're doing before initiative is rolled. So that enemy mage could be like, I'm going to cast Fireball. And the friendly mage is like, I'm going to cast Magic Missile. And then initiative's rolled, and if the good guys get lucky, the Magic Missile completely cancels the Fireball. You see what
Now
I mean?
here's something, James, about that. Let's say you had your players go into a dungeon that you didn't expect because they had a job from like a very powerful NPC.
Well, first off, nothing in my world happens that I don't expect.
Okay. Well, let's just say they do this, and you had like the powerful NPC outside just in case something happens, or if they actually do succeed, be like, "Oh, congratulations! I'm taking all the stuff, but here's your little pay."
Well, in my game, the players, who sometimes are not super happy about this, but they do it anyway, they pay taxes.
Fair. But here's the thing. Let's say that you did this, and before you actually announce that the door's open and this guy comes in, somebody goes, "I throw a flask of acid at his face," rolls the dice, crits, and hits the guy. What would you do with that?
I don't know, because there's a lot leading up to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's just
There's a
say,
lot of bullshit to think about, like, how did this even become a thing, you know? And I get what you're saying, but no, I do, though, for anybody watching or who may watch this in the future, my players pay tax. When they
yeah,
enter a kingdom, they are expected to pay, depending on the kingdom, a percentage of their wealth to the crown. And if they argue about it, then they're just told they're not allowed to be in the kingdom, you know.
well,
And it's not like they're going to go to war with, the Principality of Ulick.
yeah,
That's not going to happen. I mean,
uh,
the characters are like level 8. So could they defeat maybe a random patrol on the highway? Yes. Are they going to defeat the actual army when it comes after them? No.
fair.
So
But I was just wondering how you would
as
deal with.
much as they hate it, and they do hate it, because even the ultra lefty I play with hates paying taxes. Like, it just pisses him off, right? So
Come on,
even though they hate paying taxes, they always do.
Okay. But what I'm getting at, would you consider it more like a no big deal that he'd be kind of pissed at you, probably not hire that group anymore, or would you think about it like how you would realistically think about it? Be like, that guy's really pissed. He wants you dead now.
It's like if the guy hired the group to do a job and the group agreed to do the job, I would expect them to do the job.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, would you expect them to accidentally hit you with a flask of acid in your face?
You know what? I don't know. That's why I said I don't know, because these are the kind of these are little kid questions. You know what I mean? Like what if questions. And the problem with asking what if questions about D&D is in anyone's game.
Can be different.
Yeah, there's so many things that could be different that it's almost impossible to answer what if questions.
Well, I think of it this way: that's an NPC, maybe in a game, but you got to treat it like a person and how they would have realistically
Well, if
react.
you got hired by an archmage to do a dungeon and then you ran out of the dungeon and threw acid in his face, you're probably in trouble.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, even if you kill him, you're still in trouble. Because at that level, he could have clone and he could have cast it. So you kill him on the spot, and wherever he hid his clone wakes up and knows what you did. So now you are in trouble.
yeah, but that's why I'm saying this. If this guy hired you, he's probably not going to be happy with you. And instead of treating it like a D6 of damage, oh well type of thing, I think more DMs need to realize, no, you got to treat them like they're actual people and have them react appropriately to actions.
Yeah, well, his first reaction is going to be, did you blind him?
Which, yeah, he would have been acid in the face.
Acid in the face. Did you blind him or just make him hideous for all times? Either thing is guaranteed not to make you popular with this guy. If he survives, he's going to have to spend a shit ton of money or influence to get a cleric to cast regeneration on him.
If that even exists in that game, too.
Right. And, or maybe ask somebody to borrow their ring of regeneration. One of my players has a ring of regeneration. So, like, as long as you don't kill her, anything you do to her will eventually heal, including removing arms and legs. As long as she herself survives, she will regenerate. Pretty kind of crazy. It's not something that's going to save you in combat, since it's like 1 point per turn. So,
It's
every 10 minutes you heal. But on the long term, like when people were taking a week and a half to heal to get their hit points back, she's pretty much going to be completely healed in a day.
Bad. I like that. Man, that would be kind of cool. I would want something
Well,
like that.
think she heals 6 hit points an hour.
Yeah.
So in 10 hours, that's 60 hit points, which is more than she has.
More than I have on my game currently.
So all she's got to do is take a break for 10 hours and be completely healed. And if you somehow manage to use a sword of sharpness or a vorpal blade to cut her arm or leg off, but she gets away, it'll take a couple of days, but like Deadpool, that shit will come back. Maybe I'd play it that way too. I'd play it all awkward, where she's walking around with like a baby leg. Like she's got a crutch and a little baby leg there. Be like, that's horrible. But I'm pretty happy because I got STLs for Deadpool.
Not bad.
Actually, a lot of superheroes.
Who's your
And
favorite?
just to paint them.
Just to paint them.
Yeah, there's no superhero game out there that I give a shit enough about trying to learn how to run. You know what I mean? And then coming up with missions for the group. I just don't know. I'd have a hard time running a supers game. I feel like it would be a lot of sameness because basically every week is going to be the superheroes trying to figure out how to stop some
Some
villain
super
from doing a supervillain thing.
It's just all you do is just switch up the type of villain over and over again. Yeah.
But I found this site and the guy was selling the STLs for like all kinds of superheroes and villains. So I got Rogue, of course. You gotta have Rogue.
How about Doc Ock?
Doc Ock I got. Didn't get Spider-Man though.
Oh, weird.
Did get Venom though.
Okay. So you get the Spider-Man rogues, but you didn't get Spider-Man. Weird.
Well, the Venom I got has like 3 different actual miniatures. It's got Venom looking like Spider-Man.
Oh, so you got the Dark Suit Spider-Man.
Well, it could be both because it comes with the dark suit Spider-Man, but it also comes with the full-blown symbiote, you know, with the big tongue and all the teeth and all that.
Yeah.
And then the third figure is just Eddie Brock. So it's like a pretty good, like the Deadpool comes with like 4 different things. It's got one where he's got the pistols out, one where he's got swords out, you know. So I am, in case you guys are wondering what I was working on just now, something very simple. I'm putting a base oily metal coat on this completely wrecked cargo container. I may actually throw some paint on it. I mean, color. And then the whole thing's going to get a wash of light rust. Because, you know, it'll make good terrain in any kind of situation like cyberpunk or above, you know. I mean, a wrecked cargo container is an awesome
Could
thing.
use for a lot of things.
Right. And I've already got out in the garage in one of my game boxes like 8 actual cargo containers.
I mean, you could use that for like modern Gamma World, pretty much. I'd say you could.
Oh yeah, pretty much most of the stuff that I had made or bought or painted for Cyberpunk when we were playing Cyberpunk can be used with any Gamma World or sci-fi game. But the way everybody's acting, I think that if we switch games, it'll definitely be Gamma World because that is the game that everyone seems to be most like stoked about.
Enthused about.
Well, I mean, you know, Crowbar Justice Man super happy because his character
Could have a crowbar.
is a mutant and can manipulate metal.
Yeah.
So he can manipulate magnetism. So he's I guess thinks he's Magneto. He's not because his powers are nowhere near that. And he's got to make, you know, mental strength checks to do things, but hey, you know, I'm not going to ruin his dream. And then
Don't let your dreams be memes, man.
And then, of course, we've got Hungar playing the mutant otter. And we got the gnome character in the group playing a mutant sloth. And the other gnome character in the group playing a mutant moose. And the moose is wild because it's got wings. So it's like you got this this big humanoid deer, and he's got a big set of feathery wings. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that's just weird. And I don't know what. I'd have to relook at the character sheets to figure out what other mutations he has, but he's got a few, you know. Suffice to say, he's got a few. And yeah. And then, of course, my wife, who is playing a pure strain human. So she has no mutations or anything, but she's a lot healthier than the mutants. And robots are a lot more likely not to just kill her on sight. The good news is that particular humanoid mutant, the physical mutations he have don't affect his appearance. So, you know, he can kind of blend in. But yeah. And then they have skills because I added a skill system to the game that goes along with the character advancement system. So they got two random skills from the chart to start out with. I think Hungar's random skill is he gets a bonus at figuring out what artifacts are, which is kind of the pure strain humans thing. So it basically just means he's a mutant animal, but he's really good at figuring out, you know, what a rifle is or a computer or something like that, how they work, etc. So that's a pretty powerful skill. And I think stealth was the other skill he got, which just means he gets +1 when he tries to hide and sneak around. You know what I mean? I am using I think I told you this. I'm using the RPG pundit or Kevin Crawford style of leveling, which is when you level, you don't get things, you get a choice, and that is roll on random charts. You get to pick the chart, and you get 2 rolls, or pick any ability from any chart. But then that's it. So if you've got a character that really wants to be better at stealthing, when you go up a level, when you get an achievement, you can pick stealth. Or you can roll and hope to get it and something else. And one of the things you could get that's on both charts is an additional hit die. So
Yeah, I'd probably just roll just for the fun of it.
yeah. So, I mean, if you luck out and you get the additional hit die a couple times, now your character is, if you're a mutant or a mutant animal, you're getting 2d6 additional hit points or 1d6, depending on how many times you rolled it. And if you're a pure strain human, you're getting die 8 for each time you roll it. So as you advance, your character can get tougher. That's kind of the only thing that was missing from second edition Gamma World, was the fact that their idea for character improvement was gear. And I'm like, just knowing how I run games, it's like, no, gear is going to be a relatively rare thing. And also, I know my players, they want to feel like they're achieving things. Because I have a bunch of all of my players are achievement based players, if that makes sense. So they want to feel like their character's getting better, not just gear wise. You know, they want, you know, oh, I got more hit points. Awesome. Or, you know, I got this skill that I didn't have. Awesome. That's just, you know, you got to know your players, you know what I mean? And what
Yeah.
they enjoy. And this is what they enjoy. They enjoy going through adventures and situations, and their characters learning from that and becoming better. Which is why I wish I could talk them into a BRP game, but you know, because BRP handles that better than any game, I think. You just mark which skills you rolled and roll to see if
And
they
then
go
you'll
up,
eventually. Yep.
and then roll to see by how much.
Yep.
It's a very simple, easy system. You know, if you spend a whole game shooting at people with your automatic pistol, you may get better with it. You know,
Or maybe you go to the library a lot.
yeah, if you spend all your time at the library freaking schmoozing with the library and doing research, that's 2 skills you could get up. You know what I mean? Because you
Yep.
could get your persuasion skill up because you're trying to persuade the librarian to let you read the Necronomicon, which is kept in a back room. Of course, this would be
You don't
assuming
want
you're at Miskatonic University.
yeah.
And secondly, you get a chance for better research. So yeah, I mean, I like it. I like the idea that it's a game where it's like you use skills, you get better at those skills. If you don't use skills, they basically just stagnate and stay where they were. You know,
It also gives you the freedom to, you know, choose what you want to upgrade.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just a great system. BRP is a great system. All right. Now I'm painting these troopers, which are basically like Doom troopers, but I'm painting these ones Starship Gray. And it looks like they're all armed with disruptors, which I have to admit, I personally, on a personal level, hate disruptors. And for those of you who don't know, a disruptor is a rapid fire machine gun that fires metal bolts at you. And it fires the metal bolts at random or whatever velocities. So if you're wearing a Holzman shield, a disruptor in theory can just overpower the Holzman shield, just blow through it. At which point you're catching all of these bolts, because in the Dune universe, gunpowder weapons are not really a thing. It's like everything is really more of a gauze weapon. So, you know, it works on electricity and it doesn't fire a bullet, it fires a bolt. And, right. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of the disruptor at all. In the actual game, I've been abused by them a few times, thinking I knew what I was doing, and then some dude runs up with a bolter, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, I gotta run. And I do run. I don't know. I might stream for like 8 hours today.
Planning for a long stream, huh?
It's Monday. I mean,
Yeah.
it's Monday.
It is Monday.
So
which means my next game should be around the 27th.
yeah. So what we are talking about is basically the players are being sent to doom by their noble house or Ordos. They are a house Minoris, house Becca, and their whole job is just to try to make contacts and stuff. You know, that's it. Make contacts.
I think I'm going to have to head off here, though. I'll see you.
Well, thank you for joining me for the first hour and a half. Why stream for so long? I don't know. Bored? I don't know if I will or not, though. I'm just saying maybe I could. I mean, you know, or maybe I couldn't. You know, maybe my wife will cook dinner and be like, get off the damn thing, you know? Never know. But how you doing, Bruce? I have just removed the helmet from this trooper sergeant. And right now I'm shaving it down to make sure it's completely flat. And I'm going to find like a cooler head to put on it. You know? Because being a sergeant, I think it'll look good if he's actually not wearing a helmet. Driving home from work. Fun. So let me look at all of the many multiple sprues I have and see if I can find a head with no hat or anything on it that would look good on this guy. I know I've got a ton of heads in that thing, but I don't know if any of them are going to work. Let's see. I printed out a ton of heads, but I think they were all mutant heads, so not the best, you know? Don't want to make this guy a mutant. So, yeah, nothing there to help me. Let's take these broken cargo containers and I'm going to stage them in front of me so that I know that they're next on the chopping block after the thing I'm doing right now. I don't know. That's kind of a cool head. Bald, scarred, looking all like crazed. Yeah. That will 100% work. So I am now fitting a head from a flagellant from Warhammer Fantasy to the body of this desert trooper. He was an Atreides desert trooper, but I cut the Atreides eagle off of the shoulder. So now he's a generic trooper, which I need because Hungar decided to play a house commander. And one of the assets he has control to is a company of troops. So when the house got sent to Arrakis, they sent him along with the courtier And along with that, they sent him 40 troops. So like a platoon, actually. So this character may, in fact, end up being Hungar's character. You know, a bald, angry man in combat armor. Okay, let's see if make sure we get it centered. Make sure he's not looking off to. Oh yeah, that's good. I like that. Let's move that up just a little, just a hair, you know, just a little bit. I need to stop messing with it because if I just keep messing with it. So instead of a helmet, yeah, he's gonna this guy because you know one thing, players a lot of times the miniatures that they use on the table, they like to be able to see the face. It's like a psychological issue, I think. Like if you have someone in your group and you hand them a paladin in plate mail that's got a helmet on, no matter how fancy the helmet, or another paladin in plate mail that's got the helmet hanging off their belt and long flowing hair and stuff like that, they will 100%, I would say, at least more often than not, they will choose the character with the face. So here he is. And I'm sorry because I know I shake so the camera don't focus the way it should, but let's see if I can do something. Yeah, that focused. So I'm going to have to reprimer the whole area where, you know, I removed the helmet and put that head on. It's almost too bad their house isn't affiliated with House Harkonnen because that would make a very good Harkonnen head. You know, according to the new thing where they all shave their heads. In actual Dune, they don't shave their heads. And the actual family members of the house, they typically are renowned for their red curly hair. That's like a whole thing. They're a bunch of gingers. So I don't know. Frank Herbert must have had a problem with gingers because he made the bad guys in Dune gingers. And as we all know, only a ginger can call another ginger a ginger. That's the rule. Right? Right. So let that glue dry before I mess with him, because the last thing I want to do is mess up the I don't care about the brush because I buy the cheapest brushes on the market, but I do care about the glue not getting all bleh, you know. But well, I mean, I appreciate the listening, and if you want to give me a thumbs up, that would be even more appreciated too. You know, Bruce, it's I know you got a lot going on, but you know you're always invited on. So there we got that going on at least, right? So yeah, we got that going on at least. You're always invited on, and yeah. Like a brother to me. If I had a brother that joined the Navy and was short and bald. Actually, I do have a short, bald brother, so never mind. You know, never mind all that. You know, forget I mentioned it. Well, where my brother is. See, that's what I need to do. I need to go yank my brother out of whatever he's doing. If he's not at the doctor, he needs to have his ass drop in here and be like chatting with me. He said he woke up right when I ended my last chat. So we'll see. I could go into the kitchen. My phone is in the kitchen. I could go into the kitchen and just call him. I am such an asshole. No matter when I call my brother, he answers the phone. Because one time I called him and he didn't answer the phone, so I never called him again until he eventually asked me, "Why don't you ever call me?" I said, "You never answer your phone." So now he's like 100% always answers the phone because he's afraid that if he doesn't, I'll just be like, "Yeah, fuck that. Never calling him again." Okay, he sent me a message back. Let's see what the message was. If it's I'm at the doctor's or, I'm dying or something, then he gets an excuse. Okay, it's loading up. Okay, he didn't send me a message. So the memes they have for Kentucky on this thing are stupid. On Discord, they got the meme from Kentucky, and it's like this dude just saying, "I'm from Kentucky, bitch." But the memes here, it's just some Wildcats player, and I'm like, I don't give F about that shit. So I just sent him a picture of Colonel Sanders dancing. That'll wake him up. Or he could be playing Doom. Let me check my Discord and see if he's in Discord. Okay, no. New. Okay. Go to Adventure Conquer Kings. Omar Harkman. That guy posts some great adventures and stuff. Yeah, I set my Dune. There's a voice channel for Dune on my Discord. So if anybody is playing and wants to jump in and chat about Dune, oh, here he is. He's here. He's here. Look at this guy.
What up, nerd?
Were you sleeping?
Yep,
Well, I am sorry to have woken you up, but not really.
it's okay. I got 2.5, 3 hours. That should be good for a while.
Were you up all night?
Yeah,
What the hell were you up all night for?
because sometimes I just can't sleep, no matter how hard I try.
Yeah. And my doctor told me that if you're trying to sleep and you can't sleep, after like 20 minutes, get up and do something.
Yeah, I got up and watched. Uh,
Because if you just lay in bed not sleeping, you're training your body not to sleep.
yeah, I got up and watched Berserk,
Well, okay.
the Golden Arc,
The Ark of the King,
the Golden Arc.
Golden Age.
Yeah,
I mean, you know me, I've watched that shit like 20 times. I love it.
I love the Golden Arc.
Even though I'm at a point where I know what's going to happen and I still like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like I know exactly what's going to happen. I can tell the story of Berserk and be like, this happens, this happens, this happens. No problem.
and still, it's like
And still
that.
watch it.
I've seen it like a dozen times or so, and like still, when Casca falls off the waterfall, or
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit.
And then when like it shows Casca full frontal nude with her pubic hair, I bet you rewind and watch that.
I'm like, damn, I paused that moment.
Like, damn, Casca. Who
Man,
is
I was
apparently
watching.
from that other nation that's kind of like India.
I was watching female beach volleyball yesterday,
Hmm.
and 10 minutes after the game started, there was an injury. But my wrist is feeling better today.
Yeah, that's a good joke. I knew it had to be a joke because I was just like
Not as good as my African food joke.
that. That made me laugh, and because I love dark humor,
Yeah,
and that
and
is some dark humor right there.
dark humor is like food in Africa. Nobody really gets it.
Or not everybody gets it.
Well, in Africa, nobody really gets it.
Well, no, what you said is, have you ever had African food?
I
And I
know.
went off on how I had Ethiopian food and it looked like a bunch of diarrhea on a platter that you dipped flatbread in. And then you said, neither have the Africans.
I was like, neither have I, but that's okay because most of them have it.
And I was like, oh, so he wasn't asking me if I'd ever had African food. He was setting up a joke. And I took it serious because I always do, don't I?
That's when the jokes are the best.
Because I'm sitting here talking about going to an Ethiopian restaurant and like all it was just various pasty types of beans on a plate with some bread to dip into the various. It's like sitting around eating hummus, except not as good and much spicier. And that's coming from a guy that always buys the ultra spicy hummus. Uh,
I'm so proud of you, bro.
and the thing is, it's like, I mean, if you've got to put so much spice in your food that like you can barely eat it, it pretty much means your food sucks.
Yeah. Your whole life. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I remember when you were younger and you wanted to be a race car driver, and now look at you, a racist. It's great.
You know,
This is what happens when you wake me up.
no, I was just going to comment on the fact that I don't even care. It's like you just called me a racist live on my stream on YouTube in front of all 2 or 3 viewers or whatever.
all the viewer.
All the viewer. And I'm sitting here like, I don't even care anymore.
Nobody cares anymore.
It's
That
like
word has
there was
lost.
a time when I'd have been like, what?
That word
No.
has lost its meaning.
But now I'm just like, I just laugh. It's like, oh, I'm a racist. Haha. I don't care.
It's lost its meaning. It doesn't mean anything anymore. It's a useless word.
Yeah, I just don't even care anymore.
Just like women's rights, it's just useless.
And the 19th Amendment.
Yeah.
Oh, I get my wife fired up sometimes because we'll be watching something on TV and there'll be some Karen doing something stupid. And I'll be like, this is why we should repeal the 19th. And she's just like, why do you got to do that? You know, it fires me up. And I'm like,
Exactly.
I was like, you know, I mean, that's the thing. Women are emotional. But anyway, that's the only one I'm trying to troll my wife, which is more than I should, honestly.
See, I'm one of the
But
strange ones.
less than I used to. So at least I can claim I'm getting better.
I don't agree with a bunch of Robert Heinlein bullshit, but I do agree that veterans should be the only ones who are allowed to vote, and I'm not even a veteran.
Well, I mean, we're heading that way.
It should be that way. If you don't have what it takes to serve your country, then you shouldn't have the rights to decide what goes on in your country.
Yeah, skin in the game, as they called it.
Yeah, I like that 13 states have already started trying to pass a bill to get it where Congress has term limits.
Well, that's just how it should be. I mean,
Yeah, you shouldn't have people going into Congress when they're in their 20s and dying there.
well, yeah, you know who really caused that to happen. If you want to have a little conversation about,
Pelosi.
you know, our flawed political system, Pelosi.
Yeah,
Pelosi
I hate that bitch.
and Turtle Tim from Kentucky are the ones people are really starting to be like,
Maxine Waters. She looks like the chick who had all the
shards of crystals.
astrology. Yeah, the dark crystal.
100%. I forget her name, but Maxine Waters looks just like her.
And the old mayor of Chicago, looked like Beetlejuice.
Well, not like Beetlejuice, but like the hunter sitting in the office with like the shrunken head. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And that Angel Reese basketball player everybody is always talking about, she looks like Sid the Sloth from Ice Age.
Dude, you know what's crazy too is the female NBA team was bitching about something the other day about how, you know, they don't get respect, blah, blah, blah. And that Stephen R. Smith or whatever, he's like, because you're a welfare league, man. He tore him up. He was
Yeah.
like, if it weren't for LeBron dunking all the time, making all that money, you guys wouldn't even exist. You know, but for some reason, these horrible, horrible female players have gotten their head that they're real athletes. And I honestly think
Uh,
you could probably take four people from the WNBA, put them together versus LeBron, and he'd whip their asses.
See, I'm all about equality. We should just combine the
Yeah,
leagues.
which means there would be no female players.
Yeah.
Because I don't care, like, what's her name? Caitlin, whatever. She might be the greatest female player ever. She's barely worth being on a male high school basketball team. Like,
Yeah.
and it's not to be mean to her because she might be the greatest female basketball player ever. Who knows? But it's just a different game, you know.
See, they need to step up their game because even though I was joking about female beach volleyball, I support female beach volleyball. I support the female track and field because the chicks are, they're fit.
That's one thing.
You get
When
a
you
hot
see
chick
the
out there,
Olympic team and the American
they're
track and
they're
field
hot.
team comes out, and it's like they're all freaking 9s and 10s.
Yeah. See, if they want people to watch some WNBA, they need to get chicks on there that look good and don't look like cartoon sloths from Ice Age.
Yeah, and they should give them uniforms like Hooters used to have.
Yeah, because you see these chicks out there playing basketball, and you can see their
Well, the
mustaches.
one that we traded the Merchant of Death for, I listened to her give a speech, and she's got a deeper voice than I do.
She's a dude.
Is she?
Well, either that or she takes a lot of beaver
Because
tranquilizers.
she was definitely, she got up there and she's like, well, first off, I'd like to thank the team. And it's just like I'm sitting there and it caught me off guard because it was a voice coming out of a person that I didn't expect, Because when the Caitlyn girl, if you see her in interviews, she sounds like every other girl. And I'm sitting here thinking, I know this bitch is tall and stuff, but being tall doesn't automatically give you, all that bass in your voice,
Masculine.
That's kind of what's going on here, yeah, so I pretty much not a super fan of that, but I mean, what can you do?
Yeah, I've never been a fan of masculine women. Don't get me wrong, but I like my girls to look like
Yeah,
girls and to sound like girls.
girls, dun, 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 that's all I really want is girls.
So, and in the morning, it's girls.
Yeah, because in the evening
And
it's girls.
I like the way that they
Dun, dun,
walk.
dun, dun, dun. And it's fly to hear them talk.
And they can always make me smile. From Mount Castle to the down, 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 down.
Wish I see. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, there was a girl around the way. Like my hope is MCA. He said he would not give her play. I asked him, please, he said you
Yeah.
may.
And then he caught her. Giving Mike D
Mike
head to my dismay. Girls to clean the bathroom, girls to do the laundry, girls to do the dishes.
and in the bathroom,
Yeah.
girls. All I really want is
Yeah.
girls.
That was the chill, 90s, right? Or 80s actually. 80s. Can you believe that?
I like, hey, ladies. We got the Mexican band with a cowbell. Hey, ladies.
Yeah, the mariachis.
She gotta go too. Yeah, she gotta go too. She's hardcore. She'll show you a good time and then she'll show you the
Yeah.
door. Oh, here's something funny.
They're putting like
Here's something funny.
fake butt cheeks in and shit.
I gotta say this. This chick got all up on Instagram and she was like, yeah, I got with this guy, slept with him, and ghosted his ass. And then my friends did the same thing. Like he has a chance to get with us. And then some dude gets on there and is like, so you're telling me that he got to roll out you and all 5 of your friends and he never had to talk to you again? Wow, what a way to show him.
And he never, right?
It's like this girl's like, I bought him dinner, took him home, slept with him, and then got him an Uber back to his house. They're like, and you're saying that as like a diss to him? He just won the lottery. What are you talking about?
Well, it's because feminism
Free
is stupid. And feminists
Yeah.
are stupid, but they don't know they're stupid. They think they're smart. So, in the name of feminism, these women all did this. And they were probably like, we're going to treat a man the way men treat women.
And the guy's like, thank you.
Awesome. You bought me dinner. You let me run up in it. You freaking paid for my Uber shit.
And then you ghosted me and I never have to talk to you again?
Because I really didn't find you interesting enough to want to have a relationship with.
And then your 5 friends did the same thing. Damn, I got to introduce you to my buddies.
It's like, that's not the flex you think it is, little girl. You know, you got, I don't know, you got issues. That's what you got.
Yeah, those bitches got subscriptions.
But hey, you proved that you could treat a man the way you perceive men treat women. So congratulations. That's a victory for feminism everywhere. Karl Marx would be proud. You know?
It's crazy. If once you get all over wanting to bang every chick that you meet, you find out how incredibly boring they are.
Yeah. Is there a follow-up to that, or?
No, that's just life.
Oh yeah. I get it. Yeah. It definitely is a thing, you know. Because when you're young, you're so just, your hormones are so crazy that you're just out there begging for a crumb of it. But once you get a little bit older, you're just like, whatever. And then you know, because we do have an epidemic in this country of simps.
Yeah, oh God. I call them out on Instagram all the time. Like there's this guy, he throws this rock off of this cliff, and you're sitting there waiting for it to hit the water, and it's like really cool. And then some chick pops up with like her tits half hanging out. And you know, most of the people in the chat are like, get out of the way, you stupid bitch. We want to see the rock hit the water, you know. But then there'll be, you know, these guys on there. It's like, beautiful, thank you. Oh, you're so gorgeous. I'm like, you and the simps need to just get out of the way. Let us see the cool rock hit the water. You know, these thirsty bastards need to get a drink and get off the internet. Nobody likes you OnlyFan hoes. And nobody likes the simps that fought all over you.
Yeah. I mean, like, you got a chick like Amarath who's made millions and millions of dollars off of simps. And then, like, when they interviewed her and they asked her if she felt like any guilt or anything, she's like, no. Because she's like, I didn't make them send me that money. Yeah, but you did put your butthole on the internet. So, you know.
Thugs and simp-like behavior is one of the falls of mankind.
What's crazy is, for the longest time, she pretended she wasn't married because she was getting more donations.
Yeah.
But it turns out she is married. And now all they do is marriage drama shit. And she's married to like this Korean dude. And you can tell he does not give a F about her at all. You know what I mean? Because he's the one that's like, according to her story, I don't know if it's true, he's the one who made her get on OnlyFans. And I'm like, that is a guy who does not like you.
Look at that Mona Fane chick who like sold her bath water and all that.
Yeah,
crap.
she's broke now, I think.
But yeah, she's doing, basically she's just doing hardcore porn.
She did, I know she did a porn video, but it was with her boyfriend who she's been dating for like ever.
Now she's doing hardcore porn now with like multiple
and
dudes.
She got in a lot of trouble because they did some porn where like she was pretending to be a schoolgirl walking home from school, and he kidnapped her and took her out in the woods and duct taped her up and did all this shit. And like the internet totally was mad about it, you know. And she was all like, why are you kink shaming me? This is, you know, I like this.
And you're like, because that's my kink,
like,
bitch.
Yeah, well, I'm like, my kink is kink shaming. But, you know, even the whole internet was like, maybe that's a step too far, you know? Like simulating a kidnapping and a, you know, that might be the step too far. But I will say one thing about Belle Delphine. She was interesting for a minute. not necessary to look at, but just because she was so crazy and she did like the craziest shit. So, and some of the shit she did was funny.
I'm thinking about making a VTube
What's a VTube? A
persona.
what?
The little Asian cat-eared
Dude, do you
streamer.
know how much those things cost?
You know how much those fools make?
Yeah, but like Nuxnor, I believe, said that to get a VTuber thing like that costs like 10 grand.
Now the high end are like $2,000. You can get a low. You can make your own low end one.
My favorite one is what's his name from Romania? His avatar that talks just looks like a troll under a bridge.
Yeah, I like the dude who looks like a vampire sitting behind a desk.
Oh yeah, isn't he the one that's always busting out these like older women that leave their husbands because they think shit's gonna be awesome, and then shit ain't
Yeah,
awesome, and they're like, "Wow, this is not awesome," and it's like,
yeah, this shit sucks.
why did you think it would be? Like you left your husband you've been married to for like 30 years because you thought it'd be fun to hit the club scene. But I mean, you're like a 50-year-old
That's
cougar. No one gives a shit.
I saw this one chick. She's like online on Instagram. She's like, to the man who tricked me out of leaving a good and happy marriage and then dumping me, I'm still strong. Like, no, you're stupid.
Yep. That happens a lot too. Some dude seduces her out of her marriage, and then after he's done effing her a few times, he's all like, "Yeah, he hit the bricks, bitch." You know?
That's why I'm gonna date a blind chick because every time she feels that I'm toxic and breaks up with me, I just change my voice and get her again.
Yeah, that's weird, but okay. Weird
Yeah,
flex.
that's
Um,
uh,
so yeah, I like watching him.
yeah.
I like watching the internet aristocrat.
I like watching Old Man James and Bruce Lombardo.
Well, yeah, but you know, did you give me a thumbs up?
Of
Thank you.
course.
I don't think that it matters, but I appreciate it anyway.
I give you a thumbs up, and then later I send you the middle finger
because I'm pretty sure that, like I said, YouTube is over.
yeah,
The days of being a YouTube personality, they're pretty much done.
yeah. PewDiePie's like, no, to hell with this.
Yeah. It's like, because the algorithm is designed to send you to Fox News
Yeah,
or whatever news you watch. So, and they're turning
which
into
is
a
good.
streaming service where you can buy or stream movies, and none
Yeah,
of that stuff is what old YouTube was, which was, crusty people sitting around talking about video games and shit. So I got an ornithopter, by the
YouTube.
way.
Congrats.
And I'm getting close to being a rank 5 Harkonnen.
Uh, I'm a houseless scumbag.
Huh?
I am a houseless scumbag.
Yeah, well, join whichever house makes sense to you. I mean, you hang out with Warren a lot, join his house.
I'm not going to join any house.
Well, if the third house comes out and it's Ordos, like from the Dune RTS game, I'm going to be all about it. Because when I played the Dune RTS game and beat it, it was with House Ordos.
Bruce is in the baking process of food prep.
Yeah, I don't even know what food prep is.
Is where you pack up your lunches for the week, put them in the fridge, and that way you automatically have them. See, I used to do that when I was a truck driver. I'd put 2 packs of Camels and some Red Bulls in a little container, and that'd be my food for that week.
Yeah,
For that,
and it gave you a massive heart attack and sent you into a coma.
hey, the heart attack had nothing to do with the coma.
No, the coma had to do with the heart attack. But anyway, let's
Don't med
let's
shame
not
me.
let's not argue. Um,
I don't
what's
argue.
the
I just
update
agree.
on your new computer?
We should be getting them any day now.
I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to you being able to do shit, you know?
Yeah, me too. I mean, I did some shit today. I went and I gathered up a bunch of flour sand and uh, processed it.
Yeah, because I heard our other bro bitching about not having any flower scent. It's like, one, you live directly in front of it, so there's no
Yeah.
excuse there. But two, you need millions of flower sand by the time the game is done. You will go through millions.
Well, I made a bunch of baby oil, and he took it to Diddy's place and sold it for me.
Well, yeah, if you make the low grade lubricant, you can definitely sell it for, it's like 10 per, but you sell like 500. So
I sold 2,000. I ended up I let him keep half the money. I still made 1,200 and change, or 12,000 and change, or
right.
some shit like that.
And that is how you can quickly get the money to buy all the cool cosmetic stuff, the lights, the dining room.
I've got like,
Like, I don't know if
got
you've
like
ever been to
14.
my house, but I've got like a bedroom.
Now I've got like 14,000 in my
Oh,
chest.
I'm
Of,
getting closer to 100K, but
yeah, but I don't do anything.
yeah, but you don't do anything, and I run around, and there are missions out there that you complete, and they'll give you like 10K.
Yeah,
Some of them only give you
I've
like
done
1.5K, but there's a few of them where they're like, have money.
I've done a couple of the starter missions.
Yeah. So, have you unlocked the Mentat yet?
No, I've not unlocked anything. I'm not even on level 2 of my skill.
The Mentat is standing out front of the Harkonnen base.
Yeah, because I can't go to those places without falling through the world constantly.
Yeah, that sucks. That's some bad lag. But
So I'm waiting until I get my new computer that I finish the quest for the Bene Gesserit, and then I'm thinking I go with Mentat or Swordmaster as my second.
I can tell you for a fact that Swordmaster has been a blast. And I am almost fully on Swordmaster.
I heard the Swordmaster gets a bunch of the desert stuff too.
There's a weird synergy between Swordmaster, Bene Gesserit, and Planetologist, where it's like there's all these abilities that makes it easier to survive in the desert and climb and, basically just be athletic. And then, of course, if you've got the weirding way, you can do crazy ass shit like appear behind your enemy in the middle of a fight. Uh-oh. Hey. Still
I'm
there?
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Minor.
you can be in the middle of a fight, hit a button, and your character literally like flips around to behind the target you're fighting.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, cool. You know. Hmm. Quit
Oh,
hitting whatever button you're hitting that's making you do that.
no buttons at all.
Your internet's just acting up.
Yeah, it's raining.
Well, if you need to get going, that's cool.
No, I'm gonna hang
It
up.
has been 2.5 hours. Even though I was talking about streaming all day, I'm not going to.
Oh, you don't need to.
I don't need to. Well, the main thing is after I get done streaming, I can go finish up some quests and maybe run some dungeons in Doom. You know.
Yeah, I might eat something. I haven't eaten yet.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't eaten yet either. I've got some fresh cut, thick cut beef bologna in the fridge that I bought
Nice.
at Publix. So
Fry that up with an egg.
no, man, I'm just gonna throw it on some bread with a slice of tomato and some mustard.
And American cheese.
I've gotten to where I don't put cheese on most of my sandwiches these days.
And some tater chips. Got C
Now,
class bad boy.
now, chips I might do, but I don't eat potato chips. I eat these like keto friendly crisps.
I got a couple of steaks in the fridge. I got some burgers I could cook.
Oh, I saw that steak you cooked the other day.
Yeah, that 40 something ounce ribeye.
Yeah, it looked absolutely amazing.
It came out a perfect medium rare. I did a reverse sear on it
Oh yeah,
where I cooked it in the oven at like 240
right.
for an hour. And
Okay.
then when it was almost done, seared it out, basted in butter and garlic,
Yeah.
and then let it set for 5 minutes. It came out perfect medium rare.
Well, you know what you forgot?
Was it?
MSG.
I put MSG on all my food. I buy it by the big ass 2-pound bag.
Right.
The kind that Uncle Roger uses.
Yeah, it's got to be the Uncle Roger brand. MSG.
MSG is delicious.
So I'm working on a character that I'm thinking might represent your character in Dune. He's wearing, Dune armor. He's got his head uncovered and he's bald with a big scar across his face. And he's got a disruptor in one hand, his fist raised in the other hand. In game, I chose because you get 3 assets. So I chose for you to have a platoon of house guard with you on the planet,
Nice.
which means in game, I will probably have to create an NPC that you will control, called a secondary character for like the sergeant. You know what I mean, or whatever of the platoon. So, kind of technically, your character will have 2 characters.
Nice.
You'll have you, and then you'll have your immediate guy under you,
My subordinate.
your immediate subordinate. And the way the game works is you can send these guys out to do things. And depending on the role, things can be great, or you can get a bunch of your guys killed.
Well, yeah.
It's just like Jax's character is going to have a bunch of secondary characters because she chose smuggler. So she's gonna have at least one secondary character and also a bunch of NPCs she works with who run the carryall and the spice harvester that they're using to harvest the shit to smuggle.
Yeah, Windrunner wants us to run out with him on his harvester.
Well, I didn't know he had a harvester, but he was asking me, and I promised, because he gave me so many of those servox I needed to make my windmills and shit. I promised him that I would spend some time operating his turret later.
Yeah.
When we go out jewel farming, because you know you need those special jewels to make duralloy.
The only jewel I want is from Alaska, and she can sing really well.
Dude, you know she's like 60 now, right?
She's the same age as me. I'm like 60 now too, so I'm okay with that.
She probably looks more like freaking Rosie O'Donnell than she used to.
She could save my soul.
I'm just saying, I'd watch out what you ask for.
Yeah, you just might get it.
Yeah, you know, it's like not a good thing, but anyway, yeah. So that's going to be a thing. You're going to have a subordinate that you can give orders to and yell at, and
Like we're ever gonna play this game.
you know, we could, like, if people actually showed interest. I honestly got my bet on Gamma World being the game people would pick after we're done playing D&D, because it's more similar and whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, never underestimate the power of, you know, me being like, we're playing Doom. And then here's the deal, you know. I mean, the rules are just like the Conan rules, so you already know how to play.
Yeah. I'm down to play it. It's just not with everybody else.
Well, I mean, the first thing would be setting your house up. You got 2 mentats that have been sent with you, so depending on how they're trained, you would assume they would be searching your house to make sure that it's not full of listening devices and whatever.
Hey, that's the monster's job. She is the freaking noble.
Yeah, but it's not her job to search the house. That's what mentats do.
No, it's her job to set the house up.
Yeah, as far as hiring servants and stuff, that's her job. But she does have a dual loyalty to her house and the Bene Gesserit. So, because her character has a lot of the Bene Gesserit powers, she's got the voice and she's got the combat method.
Nice.
Where they can, you know, completely
Weirdo
control
way.
their bodies. What?
She got that weirdo way.
She's got the weirding way, yes. And then you've got like yeah. You got sword masters, but I'm not sure. It's like I haven't talked to the sword masters, so I don't know what kind of sword masters they are. Like, are they assassins? Are they duelists? Like,
Are they Duncans or are they Gurneys?
right. I mean, well, you're the Gurney. Gurney was the leader of the house troops.
Yeah.
And Idaho was the duelist. Thufir Hylett was the assassin.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you had the Souk Doctor, which no one chose Doctor. So, whatever. But yeah, you've got the Souk Doctor, and then you've got the that's it, really, right?
Yeah.
And Smuggler, I mean, that was Gurney Halleck after the war.
Yep.
And he was running with a group of guys that had a carryall and a harvester that were just out in the desert freaking getting spice as quick as they can and getting the hell out of Dodge. And they were way, way out in the deep desert so they could avoid the Harkonnens. So there's that, I mean, there's a lot. The thing about the Dune universe, especially since I would be using the alternate universe where Paul was never born.
Yeah.
It's like there's a war of assassins going on Arrakis. And a lot of minor houses are being sent to see if they can stake out, claim with
they get
Chom
fingers.
or whatever, right? I mean, did you see how much a pound of processed spice melange goes for?
No.
120,000 Solari for a pound of processed spice. 120,000. Now, between the House Atreides and House Harkonnen, who are both running full blast, I mean, they're taking tons out. When their shit ain't getting blown up by each other.
When they're not
When
killing
they're not
each
killing
other.
each other, yeah, they're taking tons out of there, which they have to pay mostly to the Emperor, right? But there's a lot of opportunity for a smart house to make contacts to start, working either on getting a hold on a portion of the spice trade or even maybe the water trade. If you can, if the house can make friends with the water sellers, who apparently are
Now,
currently in the middle of a little bit of a civil war themselves.
In the video game, is spice going for
Yes.
that much? I'm going to start harvesting spice.
It's got to be the processed melange.
That's fine.
But if you're ever running around and you find some laying in the desert, I mean, as long as there isn't a worm getting ready to eat your ass, because they are going to come. No matter what you do, eventually the worm will show up for it. Grab as much as you can. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm going to become spice. I'm going to become a spice farmer.
Because I've got I've lucked out and just been driving around and ran into spice blooms. So I've got a few hundred. Hey,
worms attack all activity.
They do. But especially if you're fucking around near a spice flow, it's going to happen.
We've got worms, sign the likes of which God himself has not seen, Muad'Dib.
I'll tell you what, that is the most quotable version of the book.
Oh, the Lynch movie?
The David Lynch movie.
Oh my God, absolutely, 100%.
Freaking great quotes, just nonstop.
Absolutely. Hey, Hungar.
Hey, what up,
I
Bear?
was telling Hungar the other day we watched Gremlins 2, and there's one of the Gremlins, Screwball, the one that's like laughing all the time and doing all these stupid, goofy pranks. And we were
Yeah.
just watching it, going, "Fuck, it's Hungar." It even looks like him. It even looks like Hungar.
One of my favorites.
I don't know how I feel about being compared in looks to a
Well,
Gremlin.
when he was a Mugwai, he looked like you. When he was a Gremlin, he just looked like a Gremlin.
One of my favorite scenes from the original Gremlin movie is when they're in the bar and they're all sitting around drinking, and there's the one gremlin sitting in the corner, and he's like got the fedora on, and he's drinking whiskey, and he's like doing the whole
Sam Spade thing.
yeah, and then you got the other gremlin that's like got lipstick and a wig on.
Mine was the Gremlin in the trench coat that just runs in and flashes
Yeah, it's
everybody.
like they don't even have genitals, but he's all like doing his thing, man. He's doing his thing.
Oh no, I absolutely. Gremlins is a great movie. Gremlins 2, though, is just a whole other level of great. Because it's just like the only reason Dante would come back to do the sequel was he's like, listen, I'll do a sequel, but you let me do whatever the fuck I want to do. And they were like, yeah, all right. So he was like, all right. And he just went fucking ape shit nuts with it. I mean, Tony Randall as the brain gremlin is so funny. What I'm trying to say here really is, I mean, sort of a quid pro quo situation. Like, he's so fucking good, you know?
Yeah, the gremlin that can actually communicate.
What do we want, really? We want what anyone wants: community, life, civilization. Yeah. And then, like, when he says, he goes, he turns with the gun, he goes, now take this fellow here. And he shoots him with the gun. He goes, now is that civilized? Hardly, but fun. It's so weird, that movie. I love it so much.
Yeah.
But the first one is good. The first one's amazing.
Yeah.
And it is a Christmas
And
movie.
it is a Christmas movie, exactly.
Yeah. And then there was, well, if Die Hard is, then that definitely is.
Absolutely, Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
So
is
yeah.
Last Boy Scout. So is Iron Man 3. So is Long Kiss Goodnight. I mean, any Shane Black film is ultimately a Christmas movie somehow. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang,
Because, yeah, it takes place on Christmas. There's a tragic Christmas story about.
I'm willing to bet fucking Shane Black had some really traumatic Christmases as a child. You know what I mean?
And now it's just like
That
stuck
was
with
Phoebe
him.
Gates in Gremlins, right?
What was that?
Phoebe Gates was in Gremlins, right?
She has the
Yeah.
whole thing about her father being trapped in the chimney as Santa Claus. That's why she hates Christmas. And then the second one, they mentioned Lincoln's Day, and she's like, I was at the park. He had a trench coat, a beard, and a top hat. The guy just sort of takes her by the shoulders, like, yeah, okay, let's go, honey.
Yeah, that poor girl has been through some things.
She's seen some shit.
She's seen some shit. She definitely would not recommend it.
But anyway, not to disrupt all your Dune talk with Gremlins talk.
Well, I don't care.
We don't care.
I mean, we were actually just winding down a little bit, bullshitting around about whatever. And I mean, so an extra however many minutes of talking about Gremlins is, of course, remember the third Gremlin movie.
There's no third Gremlin movie.
Cast a Deadly Spell.
Yeah, but that's not a Gremlins movie. That's just an amazing movie.
But there are gremlins in it.
I ain't one for dancing really too left.
Yeah, I love that. When he goes to hand the cards out, and he always hands out the wrong card.
A lesser woman would have called her large and surly brothers, who take no greater pleasure than in throwing people's items out windows.
Yeah, I love her.
Kropotkin, she's awesome, man.
Yeah.
On the day my husband died, the crows fell down from the lines for 5 miles around this room. Like, Jesus, she's so fucking good. That's a great movie.
Stars, and she's like, something evil is coming. As
All
for
things
me,
considered, I'd be in Miami.
I'm going to Miami.
Yeah. No, I
Her
like.
brother too, when the cops were giving him the shakedown,
Yeah,
and her brother shows up in the suit, and he's like such a smarmy bastard, you know. Like I'm sure you find upstanding professionals would never think of infringing upon
my
uh,
client's civil rights.
the civil rights and
Yeah,
and the chief is just like, let him go.
I
Because
love the
it's being
running
funny.
joke about Lovecraft's tie. Same sloppy attitude, same dog puke tie. And then later with the girl, she's like, that's quite a tie. Oh, thank you. You put up much of a fight? No, I snuck up on
Snuck
it.
up on it. Yeah. It's like everybody hated his tie.
Oh, wow, did they hate his ties.
And it's
I
like,
love that movie. That movie was the first, that was the first HBO original feature. That was the first one HBO produced.
you
And
told me
it's
that.
still the best one they ever made.
I agree. Because I watched a bunch of the new Dune series they made.
Oh,
And it's basically Game of Thrones in space.
oh, this Bene Gesserit series they're doing?
Yeah.
Haven't even looked at it.
Well, the lead Bene Gesserit is this Harkonnen chick and all this and that and whatever, right? None of that matters, but it's like all of the side characters are just running around banging each other and shit. So really it's like softcore porn where you get to see a lot of boobs, and there's something going on with the Bene Gesserit, but I mean, who knows?
And what show was
Yeah,
this
seriously,
exactly?
you said boobs, and now I'm trying to find the show. What was it called? Dune Prophecy.
Dune Prophecy, yep.
I mean, really, it's not good, you say, but lots of boobs, eh?
Well, I mean, the boobs are what turns it off for me because I don't like watching stuff I couldn't like watch with my mom.
That's fair. I don't have that issue.
So yeah, if you want to watch it, you may love it. And I
I probably
watched
won't.
it, and there was some shit going on. And also, one of the main characters is played by the guy that played what's his name in the Vikings series.
Oh, Ragnar. Yeah,
He
Ragnar.
played the main character, Ragnar Lothbrok or whatever.
Yeah.
In this movie, he plays a Dune man. So not a
Dune
Fremen,
man?
and according to the legend, he got swallowed by a worm and somehow didn't die. Which is pretty crazy. If that, I mean,
So is it any good, though? Is the story good?
the story was pretty good. I kind of liked where they were going with it. And of course, it was the foundation of the Bene Gesserit. So they were just learning about the water of life and memories and all kinds of shit is going on, and there's a lot of politics, of course, because it's Dune. And I don't know the name of the guy they got to play the Emperor, but I love him in like everything I've ever seen him in. He's like this big bald guy.
Okay.
And I don't know what else he's played in, but everything I've ever seen him
Mark
in.
Strong.
Yeah, he's been amazing.
Yeah, he's in Kingsman. He plays he plays Merlin in Kingsman and stuff like that. He's a really good actor.
Oh yeah, that dude's
Yeah,
awesome.
so he's
Really
the
good actor.
Emperor, and there's a bunch of shit going on, and yeah, so that's basically it. It's the fan fiction Dune. There's a lot of political shit going on, and a lot of weird myths and legends and whatever. But no one's on Dune. They're on like Carino.
Oh yeah. No, not Carino. What is the name of it's House Carino?
Catane.
Kitane.
Yeah, Kitane. Well, yeah. So they're on the imperial family's house, but they're doing a lot of spice, including like in one scene, this chick like dumps the spice out on her like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, gotta take a bump, I guess,
They're
right?
doing spice bump.
Yeah. So, because she's a princess and she goes to the nightclub and she's doing bumps of spice and banging some dude in a back room, and it's just like, okay, you know.
Well, I'm gonna log and eat.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to too.
Bear, always good to see you, my brother from another
Indeed, sir.
mother.
Take care.
And so, yeah, I mean, if you
Always
want to
good to
watch
see
it,
you, my brother.
it's not bad. I mean, it's full of everything you would expect to see in Dune.
Okay,
People
well,
getting
check it out.
poisoned and betrayed, and politics,
Boobies.
and all kinds of weird.
And boobies, because clearly when I think Dune, I think boobies.
Well, I mean, because the Emperor's son bangs like the Atreides princess, and it shows her boobs. So yeah, you get to see boobs.
All right. Well, you had me at boobs.
So yeah, but
Love you, brother.
love you too, brother. And
Well,
Bear,
I don't love you, but I appreciate and care about both of you deeply. How about that?
I'll take it. You have a wonderful day.
Take care, boys.